Okay. Hi, you guys. I'm finally back. So, my mom, my dad, and my baby brother went out shopping, and my sister is watching my other baby brother, which means I can finally finish this thing. This thing. I can finally finish the story for you guys. And oh my god, this is the most comfortable jacket I've ever been in. Sorry. Just had to throw that out there. But, anyways, let's go ahead and start reading again. Now I've heard there was a secret chord while they both can sing. Her sister is rocking this clear and strong and powerful voice, while Stella's is breathy and soft, smooth in all the right ways. I hit pause as the camera closes in on Stella's face, all her features coming alive in the glow of the spotlight. Carefree. Um, and smiling and happy, up there on stage next to her sister and her dad. I wonder what made her so uptight yesterday. I ran my fingers through my hair, taking in her long hair, the shadow of her collarbone, the way her brown eyes shine when she smiles. Her adrenaline gives her face a twinge of color, her cheeks a bright, exfoliated pink. Not gonna lie, she's pretty. Really pretty. I look away and wait a second. There's no way. I highlighted the number with my cursor. 100,000 views. Are you kidding me? Who is this girl? Not even an hour later, my first post all-nighter nap was interrupted by a blaring alarm down the hall, and then my second attempt was foiled later by my mom and Dr. Hammond bursting into my room for an evening visit. Bored, I shuffle a yawn and stare out at the empty courtyard, the cold winds, and the four sets of snow driving everywhere inside. Snow, at least that's something to look forward to. I rest my head against the closed glass, eager for the world outside to be covered in a blanket of white. I haven't touched snow since the first time my mom shipped me off to a top of the line treatment facility to be a guinea pig for an experiment during drug to fight bee chum. It was in Sweden, and they'd been perfecting this thing for half a decade. Surely it wasn't perfected enough because I was out of there and back home in about 2 weeks flat. At this point, I don't remember how much from that particular stay. The only thing I remember from most of my hospital trips is white. White hospital sheets, white walls, white lab coats all running together. But I do remember the mountains and mountains of snow that fell while I was there. The same white, only beautiful, less sterling rail. I'd been dreaming of going skiing in the Alps. Lunge function be damned. Skating in the Alps, lung function be damned, but the only snow I got to touch was on the roof of my mom's Mercedes rental. Will, my mother's voice says, sternly cutting right through my daydream of fresh powder. Are you listening? Is she kidding? I turn my head to look at her and Dr. Heyman and nod like a bobblehead, even though I haven't heard a single word this entire time. They're going over my first test results since I started the trial a week or so ago, and as usual, nothing's changed. We need to be patient, Dr. Heyman says. The first phase of clinical trials on humans started just 18 months ago. I my mother, watching her nod eagerly, her short blonde bob moving up and down at the doctor's words. Um, I wonder how many strings she had to pull and how much money she had to throw away to get me into this. We're monitoring him, but Will needs to help us. He needs to keep the variables in his life to a minimum. Her eyes focus on me, her thin face serious. Well, the risk of cross infection are even higher now, so I cut her off. Don't cough on any other CFers. Got it. Her black eyebrows just down as she frowns. Don't get close enough to touch them for their safety and yours. I hold up my hand in mock plea, reciting what could probably be the CF motto by this point. 6 feet at all times, she nods. You got it? What I've got is C is B Kappa, making this conversation null and void. That's not going to change anytime soon. Nothing is impossible, Dr. Heyman says enthusiastically. My mom eats this line up. I believe that you need to believe it too. I pay her an over-the-top smile with a thumbs up before turning it into a thumbs down and shaking my head, the smile slipping off my face. It's such bullshit. Dr. Hamid clears her throat. Looking at my mom, right, I'll leave this to you. Thank you, Dr. Hamid, my mom says, shaking her hand eagerly like she just managed to sign a contract for her most barnsome clinic. Dr. Hamid gives me a final thin-lipped smile before leaving. My mom spins around to look at me, her blue eyes piercing, voice billowing. It took a lot of effort to get you into this program, Will. If by effort she means writing a check that could send a small village to college, then she definitely put in quite a bit of effort just so I could be a human Petri dish. What do you want? And thank you for shoving me in another hospital, wasting more of my time. I stand up, walking over to face her. In 2 weeks, I'll be 18, a legal adult. You won't hold the reins anymore. For a second, she looks taken aback. Then her eyes narrow at me. She grabs her latest Prada trench coat off the chair by the door, pulling it on and glancing back to look at me. I'll see you on your birthday. I lean out the doorway, watching her go, her heels clicking off down the hallway. She stops at the nurse's station where Barb is filling through some papers. Barb, right. Let me give you my call. So, I hear her say as she opens her purse, grabbing her wallet from inside. If this Chevron perfume doesn't work, Will may become a handful. When Barb doesn't say anything, she pulls a business card out of her wallet. He's been disappointed so many times already, and he's expecting to be disappointed again. If he's not completely complying, you'll call me. She flicks the business card onto the counter before tossing 100 on top of it like this is some fancy restaurant and I'm a table that needs to be fawned over. Wow, that's just great. Barb stares at the money, raising her eyebrows at my mother. That was inappropriate, wasn't it? I'm sorry. We've been to so many. Her voice tries off, and I watch as Barb takes the business card and the money off the counter, meeting my mother's gaze with the same look of determination she gives me when she's forcing me to take some medicine. Don't worry, he's in good hands. She presses the 100 back into my mother's hand, pocketing the business card and looking past my mother to meet my eyes. I duck back inside my room, closing the door behind me and tugging at the neck of my t-shirt. I pace over to the window and then back over to sit down on my bed and then back over to the window, pushing back the blinds as the walls start to close in on me. I need to get outside. I need air that's not filled with antibiotics. I threw open my closet door to grab a hoodie, pulling it on and peering out at the nurse's station to see if the coast is clear. No sign of Barb or my mom anymore, but Julie's on the phone behind the desk in between me and the exit door that will take me straight to the only stairwell in this building that leads to the roof. I close my door quietly, creeping down the hall. I try to duck down lower than the nurse's station, but a 6-foot dude attempting to stay low and sneak around is about as subtle as a blindfolded elephant. Julie looks up at me, and I press my back up against the wall, pretending to camouflage myself. Her eyes narrow at me as she moves the phone away from her mouth. Where do you think you're going? I'm walking with my fingers. She shakes her head at me, knowing I've been confined to the 3rd floor since I fell asleep by the vending machines over in Building 2 last week and caused a hospital-wide manhunt. I put my hands together, making a pleading motion and hoping the desperation pouring out of my soul will convince her otherwise. At first, nothing. Her face remains firm, her gaze unchanging. Then she rolls her eyes, throwing me a face that makes me Her eyes flare. Then she rolls her eyes, throwing me a face mask before waving me along to freedom. Thank God, I need to get out of this whitewashed hell more than I need anything. I give her a wink. At least she's actually human. I leave the CF wing, pushing open the heavy door to the stairwell and taking the concrete steps by twos, even though my lungs are burning after just one floor. Coughing, I pull out the mental rallying past the fourth floor and the fifth and then sixth, finally coming to a big red door with a huge notice stamped onto it. Emergency exit. Alarm will sound when doors opened. I grabbed my wallet from my back pocket, taking out a tightly folded dollar that I keep in there for moments like these. I reach up and wedge the bill into the frame's alarm switch so the alarm doesn't go off. Then I open the door just a crack and slide through onto the rooftop. Then I bend down to put my wallet in between the door and the jamb so it doesn't slam shut behind me. I've learned that lesson the hard way before. My mom would have a heart attack if she saw I was using the Louis Vuitton wallet she got me a few months ago as a doorstop, but it was a stupid gift to give someone who never goes anywhere but hospital cafeterias. At least as a doorstop, it gets used. I stand up, taking a deep breath and automatically coughing as the cold, harsh winter air socks my lungs. It feels good, though, to be outside, to not be trapped inside macaroon walls. I stretch, looking up at the pale gray sky, the predicted snowflakes finally drifting slowly through the air and landing on my cheeks and hair. I walk slowly to the roof's edge and take a seat on the icy stone, dangling my legs off the side. I exhale a breath. I feel like I've been holding since I got here 2 weeks ago. Everything's beautiful from up here. No matter what hospital I go to, I always make it a point to find a way to get to the roof. I've seen parades from the one in Brazil, the people looking like brightly colored ants as they danced through the streets, wild and free. I've seen French asleep, the Eiffel Tower shining brightly in the distance, lights quietly shutting off in third-floor apartments, the moon drifting lazily into view. I've seen the beaches in California, water that goes on for miles and miles, people basking in the perfect waves first thing in the morning. Every place is different. Every place is unique. It's the hospitals I'm seeing them from that are I'm seeing them from that. It's the hospitals I'm seeing them from that are the same. This town isn't the life of the party, but it feels sort of back roads homey. Maybe that should make me feel more comfortable, but it's only making me more restless. Probably because for the first time in 8 months, I'm a car ride away from home where Hope and Jason are, where my old classmates are slowly chugging their way to finals, shouting for whatever Ivy League school their parents selected for them, what my bedroom, my freaking life really sits empty and unlived in. I watch the headlights of the cars driving past. I watched the headlights of the cars driving past on the road next to the hospital, the twinkling holiday lights in the distance, the laughing kids sliding around on the icy pound next to a small park. There's something simple in that, a freedom that makes my fingertips itch. I remember when they used to be me and Jason sliding around on the ice pound down the street from his house. The cold sinking deep into our bones as we played. We'd be out there for hours having contests to see who could slide farther without falling, chunking snowballs at each other, making snow angels. We made the most of every minute until my mom inevitably showed up and dragged me back inside. The lights flick on in the hospital courtyard, and I glance down to see a girl sitting inside her room on the third floor, typing away on a laptop, a pair of headphones sitting over top her ears as she concentrates on her screen. Wait a second, I squint. Stella. The cold wind tugs at my hair and I pull my hood up, watching her face as she types. What could she possibly be working on? It's a Saturday night. She was so different in the videos I watched her. I wonder what changed. Is it all of us? All of the hospital stuff, the pills and the treatments and those white whitewashed walls that push in on you and suffocate you slowly day by day. I stand up, balancing on the edge of the roof, and peer at the courtyard 7 stories down, just for a moment, imagining the weightlessness, the absolute abandon of the fall. I see Stella look up through the glass and what make eye contact just as a strong gust of wind knocks the air right out of me. I try to take a breath to get it back, but my shitty lungs barely take in any oxygen. What air I do get catches in my throat and I start to cough hard. My rib cage screams and is enough as each cough pulls more and more air from my lungs, my eyes starting to water. Finally, I start to get control of it, but my head swims, the edges of my vision going black. I stumble, freaked out, wiping my head around and trying to focus on the red exit door or the ground or anything. I stare at my hands, willing the black to clear away, the world to come back into view, knowing the open air over the edge of the roof is still barely an inch away. Alright, you guys. It says Chapter 5, Stella. So, I'm not sure when, because like I said, I have a bunch of birthdays coming up, and then the holidays are coming up before you know it. So I have a bunch of stuff coming up. And right now I'm going to clean my fan, and I'm going to watch The Summer I Turned Pretty, episode 4 of the first season. I know, that's bad. I haven't watched the series, but I already started watching the second series, and I've read the books more times than I can count, because the books are just so good to me. But I think it's really cool how you're also reading the books and you see the characters come to life on the screen. But anyways, I'm not sure when, but when I do post again, it will be Chapter 5, Stella. And until then, thank you guys so much for watching this live. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you never miss any of my book stuff or any of my wrestling stuff. Make sure you follow my Instagram and my Snapchat. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. Make sure you turn on those bells for post notifications about when I post another awesome rockin' video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up for a like. Give it a thumbs down if you want to too, so I know you guys didn't like it. But please, you guys, answer my poll, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down, comment on my videos what you want to see, what you don't want to see. Just let me know what you guys want so I can give you better content for my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching this live. Sorry, I do Instagram lives too, where I talk about the book, I talk about the characters, what I liked, what I didn't like, why it was my favorite, why it wasn't. So that's why I say that a lot. But thank you guys for watching this video. I'm going to try and come up with an intro and an outro to make my videos more awesome. But until then, I'll just say bye. So bye guys. I'll see you when I post again. I do not know when I will post again, but I promise you that I'll post again. So bye for now, guys.